Hey everyone, so today we're going to be making a granny square, and I'm going to be using both a 3mm hook and also a 1.9mm hook. So let's start off using our 3mm hook and then some dark brown colored yarn here. I'm using 4-ply cotton yarn. So what we will do is leave a little bit of a tail and we'll make a magic ring. So here is our magic ring. Just insert the hook, grab some yarn and pull the yarn through that hole. Once you have this, the next thing that we will do is make 16 double crochet stitches inside this magic ring. So in order to make a double crochet stitch, you're going to wrap the yarn once around the hook, then you will insert the hook inside the magic ring, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through only 2 of the loops, and then pull the yarn through the remaining 2 loops that are left on the hook. And that is how you make a double crochet stitch. So that's our very first stitch here. We're going to make another 15, so let's make this double crochet stitch again. That's number 2, number 3, number 4, and you'll keep going until you've made 16. So let's just make our last double crochet stitch here. Wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through. So this is number 16. Now from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to pull the yarn tail nice and tight. So just pulling that until the circle of the magic ring closes. Now you don't have to close it all the way. There's going to be a little bit of a gap in the middle, and that's just because we've done so many double crochets inside this magic ring that it won't close to its fullest, and so you will have a little bit of a hole in the center there, but that is more than fine. And then to finish off this first round of double crochet stitches, you're going to enter the hook into that very first stitch, and then you're going to make a slip stitch just like so. So there we go, that's the slip stitch. And from here you're going to chain 1, but this time with a new color, and this will be the brown color. And just before we do this, we're actually going to change our hook size to a 1.9mm hook. And the reason why we do this is because if I use the 3mm hook for this next section, it actually creates these very big puff stitches that end up kind of making this a little bit too small in the middle, and then it kind of curves all the way in. So using a smaller hook will just adjust for all of that. Okay, so we will wrap and chain 1 with this new color that we have set in a lighter brown color. And at this point we're going to make puff stitches. So if this is the first time that you've encountered puff stitches, you are in for a treat. So let's do these puff stitches now. We're going to wrap the yarn and insert the yarn through the first stitch. Then we will pull the yarn through just like so, and we have 3 loops on the hook. Now instead of pulling the yarn through any of these loops, we're going to wrap the yarn, insert the hook again into that very same stitch, and pull the yarn through. Now we have 5 loops on the hook. Next, we're going to wrap the yarn and repeat that process until you have now 7 loops on the hook. And once you have 7 loops on the hook, you will then pull the yarn through all 7 loops. You might just need to wriggle there a little bit. And from this point, you're going to chain 1 to lock that puff stitch in place. So that is number 1. Let's do it again because we have 16 of these to go. So we're going to wrap the yarn once, go inside the next stitch, pull the yarn through. We have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn, enter into the same stitch, pull the yarn through, and we have 5 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn, enter, pull through, we have 7 loops on the hook. And now to finish this puff stitch off, we're going to pull the yarn through all 7 loops on the hook, and then just chain 1 to lock that in place. And you're going to repeat this cycle 16 times. So pause the video, do that, and then we'll come back to it on our last puff stitch. So we're going to wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through, wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through, and last time till we have 7 loops on the hook, and then we will pull the yarn through all 7 loops on the hook like so, Then you're going to chain 1 to lock that stitch in place, and then you'll make a slip stitch right in that first stitch just there. And so we're going to make that slip stitch right there. And from here, what you're going to do is grab the yellow yarn. So this will be the next portion of our granny square. We're also going to change our hook back to our 3mm hook right here. So pull that nice and tightly. Then we're going to grab the yellow yarn and chain just 1. Just chain 1 right there. Okay, from here we're going to make what is called a bubble stitch, and we're going to do 16 of these bubble stitches all in that chain space area. So to make a bubble stitch, you're going to wrap the yarn and put it in that first chain space. I'll weave the yarn tails underneath, so I'll have them over my hook here, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through, and you can see I have 3 loops on the hook, but here I'm going to pull the yarn through 2 of those loops. Now I have 2 loops on the hook, and I'm going to wrap the yarn again, go in that same space. I'll make sure the yarn tails are above the hook, then I'll pull the yarn through, and I'm going to weave or pull the yarn through another 2 loops on the hook until you have now 3 loops on the hook. Then we'll wrap the yarn again, go into that same chain space, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Now we have 4 loops on the hook. And last time, wrap the yarn, same chain space, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through 2 of those loops on the hook, and now you have a total of 5 loops on the hook. And it's at this point that you will pull the yarn through all 5 loops on the hook, and then we're going to chain 2 in order to lock that in place. So there we go, that is what we call a bubble stitch. So let's do it again. We don't need to weave this yarn in again, but if you'd like to, maybe one more time you can do that, and maybe I'll do that one more time as well. Okay, so wrap the yarn, then we're going to the next chain space right in there. We're making sure that those 2 yarn tails are above the hook. Then we pull the yarn and pull it through 2. Wrap the yarn, same chain space, pull it through 2 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn, same chain space, pull the yarn through and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Last time, wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through another 2 loops on the hook. Once you have 5 loops on the hook, you're going to pull the yarn through all 5 loops on the hook, and then to lock that in place, you will chain 2. So there we go, that is the second bubble stitch, 1 and 2, and now we're going to make a total of 16 bubble stitches in this round. So let's come back at the end of the 16th bubble stitch. 16th bubble stitch now, so let's make that 16th bubble stitch in its chain space. So pull the yarn through 2, wrap yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through 2 loops on the hook, and you will complete this and continue until you have at least 5 loops on the hook. And when I say at least, I mean exactly. So we're going to pull, now we've got 5 loops on the hook, we're going to pull the yarn through all 5 loops on the hook without catching it, as I have just done, which I might need to start the pulling again just so I can complete that properly. So pull the yarn through all 5 loops on the hook, and there we go, chain 2 to finish that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go right into the top of that bubble stitch, just so we can connect that with a slip stitch. So right here comes the slip stitch, and there we go. Okay, so here we have our almost sunflower. We need to complete this square with white. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to change the yarn color to white, and mine is just an off-white, so it looks a bit more creamy and rich in texture, but feel free to use just any type of white that you feel you can use. Okay, so here's my off-white color, which is pretty much looking like white, and what I will do here is I'm going to chain 2, as you can see. So here I've chained 2, and now I'm going to be working in this space right here. So in this space right here, I'm going to be working up 3 double crochet stitches, and I'm just going to weave these 2 yarn tails behind it. So let's do the first double crochet stitch, number 1. Here's the second one in that same chain space, number 2, and let's do number 3. So there is our third double crochet stitch. Now I'm not going to weave this yarn in anymore, and I will directly work in this chain space. So this is our next chain space, and this is where we're going to make the corner stitch. So what I'm going to do is make a treble crochet. So did you see that I wrapped the yarn twice, then I'm going inside the chain space and I'm pulling the yarn through, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through 2 loops on my hook at a time. So there's the second, and here's the third. So I've just finished and completed that first treble crochet. Let's do another one. So wrap the yarn twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then make sure you're getting it through each of those threads, pull through 2. There we go, and let's make another one. Wrap the yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2 again, make sure it doesn't catch, and pull through 2. Okay, so there we have made a set of 3 treble crochets in this stitch right here. The next thing we will do is just chain 2, and this will be for that corner. And then we're going to do another 3 treble crochets inside this same stitch space. So let's wrap the yarn twice, pull the yarn through 2 loops, 2 loops again, and 2 loops again. Wrap the yarn, same space, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Last one, wrap the yarn twice to make this treble crochet, and then pull the yarn through 2 again, and through 2 again. There we go. So we have just made our first corner right there. Now in the next space we're going to do 3 double crochet stitches. So right here again, guys. So this is the next chain space that we're working in. So pull through 2, pull through 2 to complete that double crochet. Let's do it another 2 times in that same chain space, and this will complete our last or third double crochet stitch inside that chain space. Next we're going to do a half double crochet, and we're going to do them 3 times inside this chain space. So half double crochet only. So that's pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn once and then pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. One more time. Wrap the yarn and pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. So you can see we needed to have this and even out the height, and this is why we did double and then half. So we need to go back to double crochet stitches in this next chain space. So let's wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. Again, wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time, wrap the yarn and pull the yarn. Let's just get this little piece out of the way, through 2 loops on the hook. So there we go. So we have just completed corner stitch, double crochets, half double crochets, and double crochets, and now we're up to the next corner stitch right here. So do you remember the corner stitch? We're going to make 3 treble crochets. So here's the very first one. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Remember, we wrapped twice in the same space. Pull through 2, pull through 2, make sure you're getting through all of those loops, and then pull through 2 again. Last one before we chain. Pull through 2, pull through 2 again, and pull through 2. And now we can chain 2, 1, 2, and then to complete that corner stitch we're going to do another 3 treble crochet stitches right here. So here we go. First treble crochet stitch coming up, then your second, wrap twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, and here's the third and final one. Pull through 2, There we go. So now we can just repeat the normal 3 double crochet stitches here, 3 half double crochet stitches here, 3 double crochet stitches here, and back to your corner stitch. So let's do that right now, and then we'll so we've just completed this corner stitch right here. So now what we're going to do again, we're going to do 3 double crochet stitches, 3 half double crochet stitches, 3 double crochet stitches, and then another corner stitch here. So let's do that now. Okay, so I've just finished that last corner stitch right there, and now I'll do 3 double crochet stitches in this next space. So here's the first, the second, and the third. And to finish this off, we're going to do 3 half double crochet stitches in this next space. So here's the first one, pulling through all 3 loops, pulling again through all 3 loops, and last one, pulling through all 3 loops. And now we can just immediately get to that stitch and make a slip stitch to finish off our granny square. And there we go, guys. So here is our wonderful granny square, and you can just fasten this off if you're finished with that. So maybe we can do that now if I just grab this, and then with some scissors I will just cut this right here, pull that through, and here we have our granny square. Now all that we need to do in the ends here is for this one we might tie a quick knot, and we might make it a double knot, pulling that through, and then you can weave these 2 yarn tails over here to hide it. Then we can also, we did weave these ones in, so it should be okay, but just to make sure they're nice and tight there, we can just do a quick couple of double knots, and then we can also weave these 2 yarn tails in, and then you can also do the same with these yellow and white yarn tails here, just making that double knot and then cutting. And now what we can do is weave all these yarn tails into the back of this granny square to hide it. So here we go. Once you've done all of that, this is what your granny square will look like.